My bad. Before we jump into this, y'all may notice I'm talking a little fast. Faster than usual. It's because I was on a time crunch. I apologize in advance. Slow down the playback speed if you need to. What's going on YouTube? Back to another video. If your day is not going good, I hope tomorrow's better. And now subscribe, hit the subscribe button and notification bell. If you subscribe, thank you for your loyalty. In today's video, we're going to be doing a video on how to improve your baseball photography. Very similar to football, baseball is a very fast action sport. A lot of things are moving quickly. There's a lot of downtime between things, but when something does happen, it happens quick. But baseball photography is very similar to football photography in terms of the equipment demand. Because it's a fast action sport, starting off with equipment, when it comes to the camera you need, you're gonna need a camera that can keep up for the most part. So when I say that, I'm talking about the FPS or the burst rate. There was a minimum I would go for baseball photography. I would say you want a camera that shoots at least 10 frames per second. Cameras like the A7 III, the Canon R10, but cameras like that are like within that entry-level range. But I think the Canon M50 is probably like 3 to 4 to 5 frames per second, which I'm like, when it comes to baseball photography, you're not gonna get by on that. You want something that can at least do 10 shots per second. Now, moving on to your lens that you're gonna need. Being that it's an outdoor sport, the lens you use is very forgiving. You don't need something with an amazing f-stop, and being that it is something where you're shooting in the distance for the most part, you need a telephoto lens. So with that being said, the compression from a telephoto lens, even if it's an f4 or an like a variable lens to the point where it's f4 or even up to f5.6, you'll still get that blurry bokeh background because of the compression from the lens. Although I do recommend a 2.8 lens just to get the sharpest images possible, you don't necessarily need one. I would recommend anything from 70 to 200 and up. Anything below that 70 to 200, I mean, you can get shots of like the catcher from behind them, but other than that, trying to get anything of outfield, anything from any one of the bases, it's not gonna work. The two lenses I would definitely recommend, 70 to 200, 100 to 400, or anything within that range. And now getting into settings. Like I said, being that baseball is a very fast action sport, you will need to have your shutter very high. And being that you are outdoor, and majority, I think all baseball games are during the daytime, you are blessed with natural lighting. So you should not have an issue with raising your shutter high and still having your image bright without having any grain invited. The minimum shutter speed I would recommend is 1,000. If y'all have seen my POV videos, I push my shutter to even utmost to 2,000, 2,500, because you really need that much to capture every sharp image from something moving fast. Like if you want to capture a hitter in the ball, like if you want to capture the connect of the ball in the bat, you're gonna need that shutter speed to be utmost at 2,500, probably even damn near 3,000 realistically. Also combined with your burst rate, but that shutter does need to be high. If you have to raise your ISO in correspondence of your shutter being a little higher, if it can be raised to up like 800 to 1,000 ISO, I highly recommend it. I feel like it'll be 100% worth it, and the sharpness of your images, you'll appreciate them a whole lot more. Another thing, which I feel as though I shouldn't have to tell you, but it was something that I honestly struggled with too, so I feel like that's why I'm gonna say it, because when I first started doing photography, I think it might have been baseball. I didn't even have this setting on my camera, but you definitely want to make sure you have on continuous autofocus and not single point autofocus, so that if you're following a player that's running to one of the bases, you want your focusing to be tracking him as he's running, because he is going to be either running away or closer towards you, so you want to make sure you're able to capture it and it's not losing focus as he's running. So make sure you're on continuous autofocus. In terms of the focus point you use, I still stick to my spot focus. It's just what I'm used to, but you don't have to use it because there's not too much crossing in between your camera, in between your shot. So you can use something like zone or something just wider if you so choose. It's really up to you. In terms of the picture profile that you use whatever you are most comfortable with. I personally use picture profile 2. That's just me. And then last but not least, please shoot in RAW. When it comes to this type of photography, if you want your presets or something like, even if you're using my presets to work, shoot in RAW. Do not shoot in JPEG. Shoot 'em. So now getting right into positioning, the first position that I would 100% recommend you do at every baseball game you go to is behind the catcher. Typically there might be something covering this gate, like a little net or whatever the case may be, but if you can get any shots behind the catcher, it's gonna be an amazing angle. From this angle, you can get everything from the hitter, the catcher, and the pitcher, all in one angle for the most part. So I feel like it's the most amazing spot to be, just to get shots of both teams and just a lot of the action that's going on. So the next spot that I would 100% recommend is just aligned with first base, right? And when I say aligned, I mean on the outside of the gate, or you would be to the right side of first base. That's a great shot to get because you can get them as they're coming down to first, and you can also get them as they're running from first to second base. Another thing I would recommend is, it's very similar to behind the gate, but just to the left and the right side, specifically getting shots of the catcher and the hitter. That's not really for the pitcher, but those shots would be crucial for the most part. And for the last, like, really important, I feel like this is honestly one of the best angles you can get, is going to be shooting aligned with third base. You're gonna be outside of the gate or inside the gate, regardless if you were able to. You're gonna be shooting there, and you're gonna be shooting the runner coming from second down third. That way, if they're gonna slide or whatever the case may be, you can get them coming directly at the camera. That's the best spot to be to capture any of that. There's no other area you can be other than maybe behind home plate, which is also still pretty much just behind the gate, to get them sliding towards the camera. And I mean, I'm gonna mention this, but honestly, I don't really use it that much. But if you wanna get pictures of outfielders, you can also go outside of the gate of outfield if it's accessible to you. It's really up to you. I just shoot from, you know, the bases and just crop it in post, but you could also go from behind the outfielders if you so choose. Now, getting into what you need to look for when you're at a baseball game, 100%, it's very simple. You're just gonna wanna follow the action, but to get more in depth about what I'm speaking on, you definitely want shots of the pitcher pitching from multiple different angles and just the whole way through. It's the easiest person on the field to capture pictures of because they're doing it all game, so it's not a really high priority to get it in the moment or whatever the case may be, so I wouldn't prioritize it over getting anything of like hitters or anything like that, but that's something you do want to capture. Next, you want to get shots of the catcher catching, preferably as the ball is going into their glove or anything of that sort. Obviously, you want to get pictures of the hitters. You want to get pictures of any baseman running down to any one of the bases and any great catches made from any people that are playing, like first, second, or third. You want to get any catches of those and any catches that are made from any of the outfielders. Pretty much just following the action. That's all you really want to do. It's really that simple. So that's pretty much all, but I want to leave y'all with a couple key things to remember, which I feel like would very much help y'all. So first key thing to remember is always pay attention. The action is moving very fast, and the game can get boring, and then the second you stop paying attention, something will happen. Next key thing to remember is, like I spoke on, the best shots you're gonna wanna always get from any one of the basemen or any one of these shots in general, my personal favorite, is going to be someone sliding to third or just running or taking a base at third. The next key thing to remember, if you have to shoot from outside of the gates, if y'all have seen in my PO videos, I shoot from outside of the gate majority of the time, all the time for the most part. And when you're using a telephoto lens, the focus range will make it so that as you're close to the gate isn't in focus. You're gonna be able to shoot straight through it because of the focus range. It's pretty much like if you held something with a hole, like if you put a hole in a piece of paper and you put it towards your eye, because your eye can't focus on something super close to it, it's only gonna focus what's in the distance. So eventually you're gonna start to notice or not notice the paper that's in front of your fucking eye. Pretty much the same thing with a lens. The gate is there, obviously, but it's focusing on what's in the distance, and it's so focused on that you can't even notice the gate. That's pretty much how that's done. And then the last key thing to remember, and it's a crucial one, make sure y'all pay attention, listen to this one. Cop that DTV preset pack. Because listen, I'm trying to tell y'all, I know it sounds like a little sales pitch, but I'm being real. All the outdoor presets, the ones I use for, even the ones I use for basketball, but the ones I use for football, it works amazing with baseball photography. So that's pretty much it. That's all for this video. It was a very quick video, but like I said, I just wanted to give y'all a little bit of tips on how I do my baseball photography and how you can improve yours. If there's any other questions y'all have for me, just let me know in the comment section below. Any other video you want me to go more in depth about it. I probably won't be doing videography on this because I don't do much baseball videography, but if y'all want a video on that, just, let me know. I do got a little bit of information on that. But that's pretty much all for this video. Thank y'all so much for everything. Thank y'all for, I think at this current moment, we're at 6.3K. I don't know when this video is coming out, so whatever we're at, thank you, I appreciate it. Other than that, thank y'all so much for everything. Don't forget to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to check out the merch link in the description below. Check out the preset link in the description below. And most of all, check out that broadcast link in the description below. Once again, giveaway. The information will be there first. Other than that, thank y'all for everything. I appreciate y'all so much. Don't forget to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. And stay creative. See you next one. Peace.